Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Dan Lee, and here at Dan Lee Boatbuilding we're currently restoring this boat, which is a Healey 75. In the previous video we started taking out all of the additional glass that was put inside the boat when it was repaired as an insurance job following some damage where the boat was dropped on the floor. In this video we're going to be straightening out the hull and getting it back to where it should be and beginning to reinforce and rebuild the inside of the boat structure. So the first thing that we had to do was to get the boat turned over. We wanted to take a proper look at the bottom and see what was going on with the shape here, and as you can see the boat was pretty distorted. Once we got it upside down we could have a really good look at exactly what was going on there. And what we found was that one side of the hull seemed to be pretty much in the right sort of shape and the other side was quite badly distorted, where the boat had sunk down on the bunks on the trailer that it was sat on. The keel was also quite a bit out of shape, so the first thing to do is to get that straightened out. So we just edged a piece of timber so we had a nice good straight edge to work from to get the keel back, and we ran that down the centre line so we could see what was going on. As you can see, the keel is quite badly out of shape. In two sections where it sat on the keel rollers on the trailer, and then the forward section as it runs up into the stem was quite out of shape as well. There was a sort of hump that came up and then a hollow that followed it, so there was a bit of work to do to pull that back. So we've drilled a few holes through the keel in the boat. We're going to use this to pull the keel section of the boat back straight again by running some big screws from the inside. Okay. A little touch more. Yeah, that's good. That actually worked really nicely, and by sighting down the boat several times as we did this process, we managed to get the keel back nice and straight in the section where it should be straight. How's that back doing?
Yeah, better for this sort of
So then we were on to straightening the rest of the hull, and the way we decided to do that was by fixing some longitudinal battens down the side that was out of shape, and you can see roughly what that looked like there.
Cool.
So the idea really is to get this hull close enough so that we can fill and fair it when we do the bottom. So the boat's going to go back over and we're going to do that onto the bottom before we do paint, because this isn't original gel coat, this boat is going to be painted, so it gives us the opportunity to fill and fair the bottom. So this only really needed to be straight enough that we could fill and fair it without putting masses of filler in now. So what we really wanted to do was to pull this back as straight as possible with sort of minimal holes through the hull at the same time, because we need to be able to put the glass on the inside of the boat without any structure there that's going to get in the way of doing that. So we did these longitudinal battens with screws that run down the same lines as those little half round dowels that we took out the inside. So there's a handful of screws in each of those battens, and then we've used these cross battens that you see here that run up to the keel timber to then pull that whole assembly up and jig it into shape. So we've done that by sighting down the boat and just tightening the screws and loosening them as and when they're needed to get things fair, and we actually got it pretty close, which was quite nice. We weren't really sure how that was going to go. So once that was done, we can turn the boat back over and leave that structure in place on the bottom, and then we were on to starting the reinforcement of the inside of the hull. So the first job on that list was to just fill in the worst sort of low spots from those longitudinal dowels that we took out and give us a nice fair surface to then follow on with glass. So the type of cloth that we're using for this boat is called a biaxial cloth, and this is what it looks like. It consists of two layers of straight glass strands that run in opposite 45-degree directions to each other. And it's not a woven cloth like some fiberglass cloths are. This is actually stitched. So these lines that run longitudinally are the stitching lines and then 2 layers at 45 degrees. So that enables us to get a huge amount of stiffness and rigidity back into the boat by controlling the way in which these fibres run. So with this boat we're doing 2 layers of this biaxial, and we're running 1 cloth longitudinally down the whole length of the boat, and that will give us strength in 45 degrees, 2 angles like that. And then we're running a layer of cloth across the boat which will give us strength in 2 45 degree sections as well. So that's done in much the same way that we would cold mould a hull and orient the grain of the veneers in opposing 45 degree directions. You might be wondering to yourself, why have you cut a load of glass out the inside of the boat and then you're putting more back in again? Well, we're actually inducing a very minimal amount of weight within this boat, and we can calculate what that is to quite an accurate degree. So this is 450 gram glass, which is the weight of the glass cloth per square metre. So 1 square metre of this cloth weighs 450 grams. The resin to cloth wet out ratio is 1 to 1. So by the time this is wetted out, it will also take 450 grams worth of resin per square metre. We're doing 2 layers of glass on the bottom of this boat. So by the time we multiply that up, we get to 1.8 kilograms per square metre weight that we're adding to the boat. So that's 2 layers of 450 for the glass and 2 layers of 450 for the resin to wet the same section out. If we times that by approximately the total square meterage of the boat, which is around about 6.8 square meters for the bottom of the hull, and the small section up the sides that we're doing, that takes us to around 12.24 kilograms, plus maybe a little bit extra because those are just rough numbers and we may be a little bit heavier on the resin or cloth in various different places. So somewhere between 12 and 15 kilograms is all that we're adding to this boat by putting a whole double layer of glass along the bottom. So it's not a great deal of extra weight given the stiffness and rigidity that we're going to induce into the bottom by doing that. It will certainly be a lot stronger than the original polyester and chopped strand layup that made up this boat originally. This is a small section of glass that we cut out from over the top of the screw head, which is currently holding the jig structure on the bottom of the hull. And you can see that it's a really thin section, a couple of millimeters thick probably, but it's also incredibly strong, and it might be a slightly conical shape where it's gone over the top of the screw head, but I really struggle to bend that. So you can see the sort of strength and stiffness that we're going to be inducing back into the bottom of this boat with just a very thin and relatively lightweight layer of glass on the bottom. So Will got to work with cutting all of the glass cloth to size and putting marks on it so that we could carefully align it back to its original position inside the boat when it comes to wetting out. Then all of the pieces were neatly folded up and marked up so that we knew where they all go. Then we're ready to start wetting out the boat and installing the glass. So we're using West System Epoxy Resin for this, and what we do is we've rolled a layer of resin all over the inside of the boat first, just to help to fill any little porous areas that might still be there within the original glass structure, but also to help to wet out the cloth from the underside as we lay the first layer on. So we rolled a good layer of epoxy resin on that surface first, then we carefully position and unfold the glass cloth and start to wet it out. So we decided to put all the cloth in and then do this forward section of the hull because it was going to be quite difficult to access once we started to wet out the aft areas. So I put this little board in place and then did both layers of glass right up in the forward section of the hull so that we could then just work in the open areas going forwards. So we're using a combination of brush, roller and spreaders to wet out the glass here, depending on the shape and what worked best. The rollers are really good for distributing the resin nice and quickly, and the spreaders are good for forcing it through the glass, making sure it's properly wetted out. We're also using some aluminium finned paddle rollers that just help to release any air that might be within the layup and just push that resin right through the glass as well. So we're doing all of this in one session. We're doing both of the layers of glass all in one go. So we laid out the first layer longitudinally, as I mentioned, and then we're doing the second layer of glass across the boat. Once that was all fully wetted out, we're going over the top of the glass with a peel ply. So this is a piece of peel ply. It's a thin nylon cloth that is treated with a release agent that the epoxy resin will not stick to. It basically forms a sacrificial layer, so it goes down as the final layer in your assembly, and then you peel it away once the epoxy resin is dried. There are a number of benefits to that. Firstly, it takes away any excess resin that might be in the layup, which will float up to the top and sit on the top side of the peel ply. It also removes all of the amine blush, which is a waxy substance that comes to the surface of the epoxy resin as it dries. So because you peel away the peel ply, the blush is on the top side of that and it comes away with it. The peel ply also leaves a slightly textured finish behind, which means that the surface doesn't need to be keyed if you've got further bonding to do to that surface. That also has a byproduct of protecting the integrity of your glass. Because the surface is already keyed and free of amine blush, you don't need to sand the surface, which means you're not likely to sand into the glass and damage the structural integrity of what you've just created. So it's an extra process in the layup stage, but I highly recommend it because as soon as it's peeled away, you've got a perfect, clean, nice flat surface to continue working on. So it massively saves on the afterwork for stages that follow. So that was our layup finished, and the next job was to free up the screw heads that are holding the jigging structure in place that we've got on the underside of the boat. So we used a little drilling guide and a hole saw there just to cut a section of glass out around the top of the screw head, the little section that I showed you earlier when we were looking at the strength of the layup that we've put in place. So we just cut around the outside of those and then break free a small layer of glass around the top of that screw head. Just back the screw head out and put it back in just to make sure that there's no epoxy in it and that it's definitely going to come out nice and freely so that we can remove that structure at a later date. Once that's done, we wanted to just leave the glass for a good amount of time to set up nicely and cure to a good strong state before we start to take away that structure and rebuild the inside of the boat. So we set up a little heater inside the boat and then we put the cover back on and close it all up to get it nice and warm and cooked up inside. So that's about where we're up to for part 2 on the Healey restoration. In the next video we're going to be starting to rebuild some of the internal structure of the Healey and putting some of the woodwork back in for the frames and the various parts that form the structure to support the bottom of the boat. So that's what's going to be in the next video. If you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, then make sure that you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers guys.